Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Peace, and divine love. We have tapped in talk radio here. I am one of your hosts, Osa. We also have two of our other hosts here today and our guest, Miss April. So, how y'all doing today? How y'all feeling?
I'm great. Wonderful.
Great. So, everybody say hello.
Hello. I'm feeling okay. Me and Osa did a thing a couple nights ago. I'm a little spiritually drained, We did do she came and sat for me when I did the heroic dose.
Oh.
And we're not gonna talk about it, but I'm just mentioning it. So I'm okay. I'm feeling fine today. I'm renewed. I'm rebirthed, and I'm feeling fresh. And that's how we're feeling today.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her.
Was it productive?
It was very productive. Yes, it was. Absolutely very productive. It was a really good experience. It wasn't anything. I was really scared.
You were scared?
I was, before I decided I'm going to go ahead and do it. I was scared for about 2 weeks. I'm not a scary person. But for about 2 weeks,
what
I was
aspect
scared.
of it was you scared of?
Prior to, I was just scared of the unknown, like what is it going to do? What is it going to be like? So, it was fine.
So you was more optimistic or pessimistic with it?
I never doubted the results. The results would be. I just didn't know it would be for me.
And she didn't know what to expect.
And I didn't know what to expect. But it was very easy. It was easy. It wasn't laborious.
A lot of people had that fear of the unknown.
Yeah, it was
right. That's what.
unknown.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh yeah, you should do it, champ. You should do it. You would enjoy it. I enjoyed it.
I think he would too.
I don't know. I
he
can't
would.
say it. I can't really
would.
say it was enjoyable. It was.
It was enjoyable.
I can't say it was enjoyable, but it was an
work.
experience.
It was
It was work. It was work, and it was enjoyable, but it was work.
So can I share like the cat?
Because let me just say that I never lost my consciousness. I never was outside of myself. So during the whole time, it's like we saying stuff and we going through, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is happening, or I'm seeing this, or I'm thinking this. And then at the same time, I stop and be like, oh, so this crazy as fuck. What the fuck is going on here? Like, what did I just say? What the fuck am I talking about? So I never was out of myself. I'm like taking a bird's eye view, and I'm like giving commentary like, this shit is so wild. So it was that
So it was
kind of
actually
experience.
exploring the unknown. And
Yeah,
you
it
actually
was
found
very
yourself.
explored. It very much, beyond your imagination of what you will come up with and what will come out. It is.
So
it is within
I
your.
love hearing
It
people
is,
talk about eating mushrooms.
it is within your imagination, but it is beyond your imagination.
So you was like in third person looking at yourself?
Yes. I could almost say yes and no, because it was like it almost tapped into the
Closet.
storages of my DNA, almost the past and history of my DNA.
No, almost too. You did.
Well, it did. It tapped into the storages of my DNA.
Yeah.
And I was able to vocalize that, like
Right,
some
that's the big
stories
part,
that were within my DNA that I wouldn't have been aware of, but it was just that. That's the way I can explain it. It really tapped into the storages of my DNA, because your DNA holds, I think, 20 to 30 years in your generation.
I'm straight.
Yeah, so it went back. Like I thought it was gonna be all about me, and I was gonna be talking about me. It wasn't nothing about me. I didn't talk nothing about myself. I didn't see nothing about myself. I saw stuff about myself because it was stuff within my past and in my lineage, but it wasn't nothing like I thought it was gonna be.
So can I share one thing?
Sure.
So
Our topic tonight is going to be
No.
feminine toxicity, but we just go explore this for a minute.
Absolutely. No, I just wanted to say she was pretty much just passed the torch to clear some generational stuff that was there.
So you went back to like
she went
great grandparents.
She went
and how
further than that. She went back in her generations and cleared generational trauma and curses. And she was past that torch to do that, and she did all that work in that setting. That's why she's drained. She did some powerful shit. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We did that.
Yes.
Because also, I would be
I'm
like,
gonna
Osa,
check it out, Mark.
I'm like,
check it
Osa, what
out.
are we supposed to do with this? Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out.
And I told her that I said it's like something was lifted off of you.
Yeah,
Her
absolutely.
energy, you could feel like even when I came in the house, I'm like, okay, you know.
Yeah, it took me a minute. My hair was standing on my head for like 2
That's
days,
all right.
looking like I was in the wilderness. But
okay.
I got it back. I got myself back together. But
okay.
yeah, it was a really good experience. I don't even. I told Osa, I don't know if I can even do it again, but it was a really good
I wanna do it.
experience.
I'm ready.
It was a really good experience.
I'm not fear the unknown. I'm curious about the unknown.
Oh, well, you'll be
You'll
fine.
have fun with it.
Yeah, you be.
You'll have fun with it. You one of those people that have fun with it.
Yeah, so to get on the topic today, today we are going to discuss and address toxic femininity. So 2 weeks ago we talked about toxic masculinity, and a lot of people, they're like, well, what about the feminists? Toxicity doesn't just reside with masculine or with the men. There are also women who are toxic as well. Toxic meaning, having unhealthy patterns, traits, personality types. Yeah. I don't want to get the guts of it right now. But as we know, with women who are toxic, they tend to, repeat certain cycles, come off very negative. What else can we say about that? Can be manipulative. That's one of the main characteristics that I notice with toxic feminines is that they are very manipulative. So they'll use their charisma and grace.
Call themselves the victim.
Yes. Oh, okay. Definitely.
Damsel in
Projecting that victimhood. I want you. Mark, do you want to-
Why don't we start with what are the positive femininities characters?
Okay, so when I researched the topic, I will talk about the research initially. What they were deeming as toxic femininity was the same for men, like the traditional
The different gender roles.
traditional gender role that they assign to women in terms of being passive, submissive, only focused on beauty. Some other things, those
caring,
kind of gentle.
passive.
And if you outside of that, then
feminine
you're not feminine enough, right? So that's one way that toxic femininity comes in. And some women manipulate those traditional expectations. They manipulate that femininity. They act
Manipulate it
submissive,
for
but
their
they're
benefit.
not really submissive. They act gentle. But as soon as
They do it
get
for a
mad,
reason. They
not
want something out of
gentle.
it.
They're doing it to get
Point
to
taken.
manipulate. And then the other, the modern day toxic femininity, you have things like what are some of them, like the party girl, the whole phase is okay for women to be promiscuous and it's my body and all that's kind of to a toxic extreme. You have women that are hyper independent. That's that's considered, that can be toxic for some folks. Another toxic femininity is jealousy in women, right? It's like women that can't maintain friendships with other females. That jealousy aspect these days. Another modern theme of feminine toxicity is relating to motherhood as burdensome. Nobody want to. You get pregnant and get rid of it, or you gotta have this, gotta have that to have a baby, or babies are burdensome. And then you also have like the party women, right? The women that just party, forget the kids. It's about me. I'm gonna ration out the money, make sure I do what I want to do. They, you looking all fresh, but your kids looking like trash.
So they got the neglecting the nurturing aspect.
Yeah, so they just totally neglect that
woman,
nurturing aspect.
I'm entitled to this. You know what I'm saying? I look at toxic femininity as false sense of entitlement. Because I'm a woman, because I'm a female.
Absolutely.
That I'm entitled to this and I'm entitled to that, Whereas we're not entitled to nothing but ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But when you apply it to somebody else, that you're entitled to do this and that for me.
Because women walk around like the whole world owes them everything that they feel like they deserve.
Right.
But they do nothing or are nothing to earn any of that or deserve it. Not earn, but deserve any of that.
That's one other one I left out with the modern day toxic feminine woman. She's can be controlling and somewhat abusive, right? They're controlling and abusive, and just especially in their relationships, but in general, you know, you got some women that's just hard. You know, you can't say nothing to them; they ready to fight.
That. So like showing up more masculine,
showing more masculine energy. Yeah.
That and also that where women can be verbal abusive and emotional abusive.
Yes.
You know, to their male
using
counterpart.
that power.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna use my femininity to emotionally abuse that man, to verbally abuse that man. You know, just to get what they want.
Emasculate the
and they
man.
feel entitled that they're allowed to do that. They're entitled to do that. Like, this is a woman's role to do this when I don't get my way from a man. These are the tools that I can use, and I'm allowed. You know what I'm saying? And then on the opposite, it's actually men that allow that. They think that's acceptable. You know what I'm saying? So can't always just hold the burden on the woman that their toxic femininity is all weight on them. It's like, actually, men fuel that. There's a lot of men that fuels that and allow them to feel like that.
Fuel it. Now, when you say fuel it, that's if you walk a thin line. It's not, you know, maybe allow it. You know what I mean? Don't contest it.
You have men that will sit there and be like, a woman, she's allowed. That's her. That she's allowed to do that. And as a man, I accept that.
But see, they're
men that take advantage of that woman.
But see, that continues down because their mother was like that too.
They erode a man's mind down to the point where he feels like that's how she's supposed to be. So,
or some of them are raised like that,
right?
And are attracted to that.
Some of them they looking for a woman to dog. Because I always say, "Oh, he wants somebody to dog him out."
There are men that's attracted to that.
I've heard all kinds of crazy shit now. So I digress.
Yeah,
because you have different type of men.
What you mean? They like
you got other men that's a trigger to them, and I feel like women. I'll say I'm guilty of this in my past. You know, I feel like I've always said our mouths is our weapons, women. So as long as whatever I'm saying is just coming from my mouth, don't touch me.
But you know what though?
But I had to learn the hard way that some of them things coming out of my mouth is just as toxic as a man putting his hands on me.
But and being at the same time, right, the things that you're saying out of your mouth can put you in a situation in life, right?
Yes, man.
To where now you are what we said earlier, saying, "Oh, if the war was me, the whole world is against me," but it's really you that fucked everything up for yourself because your mouth, and nobody wants to deal with you. So now, you know what I mean? Because it's like I remember one chick, just lost, not to cut you off. Make a long story short, she said that this is just the way that I am. Right, my mom like this and my auntie like this, so it was almost like the world just has to deal with me like this, and that was almost acknowledging that she know that she's fucked up.
They do,
right?
But I'm fucked up.
I'm
fucked up because everybody else in my family, so everybody else has to just deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot of
you
them
know
like
that
that.
you fucked up.
It's a lot of them like that. Oh, you gonna accept me being a bitch? You gonna accept me because I'm a spoiled brat? You gonna accept me because
and you wrong if you don't, and you wrong or something wrong with you if you don't. You know what I'm saying?
So when they sit there and say that, I have a saying, it's like, you know, you create your own reality with the decisions and the choices that you make. So the people are gonna react and gonna interact with you, what you put out. So if you sit there and say that, oh, I'm a bitch, I'm a badass bitch, you know what? They're going to treat you like a bitch. Don't sit there and be expected to be treated.
You create that reality for yourself.
No different than a bitch. You know what I'm saying? If you sit there and say, I'm a high value, powerful, resilient woman, that's how people is going to treat you, and that's how they going to respond to you. But if you going to sit there and say, like, I'm a bitch, and you know, woo, this and that, so you going to have a group of men that's going to accept that and going to like it. Oh, I like that ratchetness.
I've always said, I don't want no bad. A bad bitch is a female dog who pisses in the house when I don't want it to. I want a good woman. I don't want a bad bitch. That's no.
That's why I think it's important for females, too. You know, just be very aware that it's us too. Like, it's very, you know, women can be toxic.
Y'all are part of the problem.
And once we learn that toxic, it's good to learn other ways to not be toxic. Like, don't, like you said, keep doing the same pattern, the same routine. Break it. Yeah. Otherwise, you are just as much toxic as that man or whatever the case. Like you said, it could be two friends. You know, it take two to go. So you just as much guilty. You being just as toxic as that person if you're allowing it to keep happening in your life. You know what I'm saying?
But what I don't get is like, you know, you know what I'm saying, me coming up, and when I witnessed like female friends and their relationship with their mother and what their mother would teach them, but at the same time, that same thing that they teach them separates them. You know what I'm saying? When they will sit there, you know, they'll be like, oh, I'm a bitch and I all do this and that. And then you carry on that same behavior on your daughter. You telling your daughter, but now y'all clashing because that same thing you instilled in her, she's using that against you. You know what I'm saying? So then in the same sentence, you'll be like, well, I don't want to be like my mama, this and that, because of the constant conflict that y'all have. But she instilled that into you for y'all to have that conflict. You don't want to be like mom, but you carry on them same things that she instilled in you, and for you to be able to acknowledge, identify what she put in you, and that's what caused the friction between y'all. So now as you want to grow, do you want to grow into her? Because you said that you didn't want to be like her. Then what do you want to grow into? Because you're only using the same things that was instilled into you. And you know, that's another layer of toxic femininity. It's like, okay, is what the mother is actually instilled in them, or the grandmother, the aunties, the cousins, you know what I'm saying, the friends and all that, they actually instill that into them. And now you learn behavior, and you continue it. It's like, when it's going to come to a stop, like, you know what, this stuff's not working out for me.
But, you know, I had my daughter, we was dealing with my daughter when she was over. And even yesterday, my daughter come in the house talking cash shit. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, you know, I didn't even bother to go back for it. You know, I told her, I said, keep that spirit. I like that spirit. Keep that energy, because you're going to need that. You're going to need that through life. You know, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm not about to argue with you because you right for you. You know what I mean? And you're going to need that
and
energy.
I told you that.
Right.
I told you.
You know, you're going to need that energy for your life. So I'm not about to challenge you and bicker with you because I did teach you those things, even if I'm not doing those things, because that's where the conflict come in with the daughter.
And we spoke about that.
Because the mama taught you something, the right thing, and the mama might not be doing it. So now you want to hold the mama accountable, but it's like, look here, mind your business.
Because they don't understand.
You know, they don't understand. And I always
which
tell
is
my
a blessing.
kids,
it is a good thing.
Yeah,
but
keep
you
living.
instilled that in them.
Yeah, keep living.
They got to remember that. Like, hold on, mama taught you that. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
I'm like, you gonna need that. I'm glad you're saying all that, because you're gonna need all that energy and all that spirit. You don't need it for me, I understand, but you gonna need it in life. So hold on to all of that action you got.
That's very true.
A lot, you know, when we talk about toxicity, a lot of it comes from parenting. You know, and I tell folks, it's like, you know, granted, we want our kids to be better than us. You know what I'm saying? Stop instilling your flaws and your toxicity traits. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you'll look at parents, they will boast their toxicity traits in their own personal life amongst their friends, and don't understand that they're chilling it down to their kids, you know? So it's like when you're raising, so let's say you have a daughter and you have a son, right? So it's all cool for the son to be promiscuous all as a child, but you raise the daughter to be monogamous, you know, and save yourself. Your reputation is everything that you have, but they don't instill that into the boy, that your reputation is everything. You know what I'm saying? Because now as a boy, when you sit there and meet a woman of values, standards, and principles, she's going to look at your reputation. You know what I'm saying? She's going to sit there and judge you by your reputation, just as you as a man or a young man or a boy, you judging them females by their reputation. But as you get older as an adult and you have a woman of value, of standards, of principles, of morals, they're going to look at you by your reputation. So when y'all raising these boys just to be freely this and that, then all of a sudden at 18, you supposed to change around? No. The same things that you instilled in that daughter instilled in the boys.
They're going to say,
you know what I'm saying, as they come as men.
He's toxic.
Exactly. There you go. You
he's
feel
toxic.
me? Right. He's toxic. You know what I'm saying? And that's short selling that boy. But then also, that same boy, he's going to accept it. When you boast about he's toxic, oh, yeah, I like them toxic females too. You know what I'm saying? So now it becomes trendy for these females to be sitting there toxic, because you see it all over social media.
It's already trendy, right? Like, people call themselves toxic like it's a good thing.
Like it's a good
you look
thing.
at so many
my
handles on
toxic
social
trait
media.
is-
You know, toxic shit kills things,
Let's
right?
look up
the
It's
definition
cancerous.
of
It's
toxic.
nothing that you want to be around.
Yeah.
But they done turned that shit into something that you want to be. Everybody want to be. Like, what the fuck?
I don't want to be.
You know, it's like when I was
toxic
listening to
on
them
me.
young cats, they be like, yeah, I done finessed them. Like, finesse? You know, finesse in
Finesse
my
them for some
generation
pussy.
meant
You
like,
mean you got over
you know
on
what
the
I'm saying? Like,
motherfucker?
I had finesse, I
Like,
had
what is
style.
that?
Oh yeah, that part right.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
now I
saying?
mean you got over
Now,
on the motherfucker.
finesse means that you done got over on somebody, you took advantage of somebody, used somebody. Where my generation, finesse means you had style, you had
You just
character.
good at something.
Yeah, you was
Finesse.
good at
Yeah.
something.
I finessed it, I fixed it, I made
Yeah.
it work, you know, finesse it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it was a
straighten
positive
it up.
thing. Now they turned into a negative thing. It's like, whoa. So now it's like the trend is we gonna turn positive things into negative things.
It's
You know
all
what I'm saying?
flipped over.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's bad is
you
good,
know,
and what's
even,
good
even
is
the
bad.
Bible say that's in the Bible, you know,
Yeah.
they're gonna call what's good evil and what's evil good, and that's just the day and age in which we live in. And in terms of some of the stuff you were saying, my daughter has spoke on how, because she was talking about the whole phase, and she was like, I never, you know, and she's like, I never had a whole phase.
How old is your daughter?
She's 29, ain't she? I think. And
You think?
yeah, I think so. Her birthday is funny, so her year.
She's 29.
Okay, so she like, I never had a hoe face because I had brothers, and I would hear my brothers talk like, oh, she did this, oh, she a hoe, so she would mentally check like, oh, don't do that, or I don't know. And then she said one of her brothers came to her one time by one of her friends was like, you hanging out with hoes, I hope you don't be a hoe, and something like that. So it was her brothers and her dad, and then that's a big issue with some of these, not some, because you know we all are included. You know, with us as women, is just the relationships and you know that we have with our fathers and brothers,
Men in
and
your
the lack of it, and things like that. Is the relationships we have with males in our family.
And that's a big thing with daughters, because I have one daughter, and she's only going to see positive examples out of me. You know what I'm saying? Granted, she done heard the negative. I won't say negative, but she done heard the other side of my own personal life. But the only thing she's ever witnessed was going to work with me. You know what I'm saying? A structural home, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Girlfriend I was with at the same time. She was always in a structural, stable environment. You know what I'm saying? She's never sit there and see me outside the environment. Granted, she done heard the stories. But, you know what I'm saying, she already know, like, me and her mother, it was a stable environment between, you know what I'm saying, me and her raising and this and that. So that's implanted in her mind. So that's what she's want. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say fathers play such a big,
fathers play a big role. Good
and daughters is like setting an example of what type of male that you want. And they were going to pick and choose other attributes, because she'll sit there and be like, oh yeah, my daddy's stubborn. You know, it's going to be some parts of me that she don't like. You know what I'm saying? But the good is going to overweigh the bad. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I pray on is like, long as he sit there and see the good overweigh the bad, and necessarily what she think is bad, not necessarily bad. It's called parenting. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your friend. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to come at you straight to your jugular. This is exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to pacify nothing. I'm not going to band-aid nothing, this and that. You know, because we just had a conversation 2 days ago. Like, I'm still going through stuff in life, ups and downs, smiles and frowns, you know what I'm saying, as you are, because she's 25, no kids, you know, in her own place, working like 3 jobs, you know, to sustain her lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, but at the same time, that's what I used to teach her when she was younger, coming out of high school. It's like, you know what I'm saying, I work for my lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, I'm not dependent on nobody, you know what I'm saying, so granted, I would help you, you know what I'm saying, with things. Don't think it's ever a given. You know what I'm saying? Your necessities in life, I'm always going to be there. If you need a roof over your head, clothes, and eat, I'm always going to be there. All that extra stuff, I will help you with it. You know what I'm saying? That's not a granny. I'm not.
That seems like a healthy medium. But I was going to ask you, do you think that she may be hyper independent though?
No.
With that idea?
No. Well, okay. For make a long story short, when she got out of high school, she went married.
Okay.
Her husband.
I mean, that
got
doesn't make you not hyper independent.
No, I'm about to explain to you.
Married,
Yeah, she went to the her husband went in the service. They spent like 5 years in Germany. When she came back, she felt like she didn't have no purpose, nothing to do for herself.
Okay.
So right now she's in her lane. Like, I'm not depending on him. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying, he wants her to depend. On him, you know what I'm saying? Where there's not a balance. Like, you got your career, you doing everything that you want to do in life. It's not, I just don't want to sit at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's going to afford everything that she wants, but that doesn't make her whole. That
Right.
doesn't make her happy.
It's not,
satisfied.
it's not fulfilling.
Like, I want to fulfill myself. I want to do stuff for myself. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful.
So if she had to separate, you know what I'm saying, for him, it's just like, it's nothing about, you know, cheating or nothing like that or want to be this and that. It's like, you're not giving me the opportunity, so I have to take the opportunity on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, she'll love everything that you're doing, but you're not allowing me to feel full
me.
in myself. You know what I'm saying? So
My
we had
goals.
those conversations, and I was just like, you know, I can't speak from him. So you can only make your own decisions. And like, I'm not going to talk to you and ride, you know what I'm saying, on what you're saying and not even hearing his side, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to play neutral. You just got to do the best for you, and whatever you feel that's best for you, I'm going to support it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get in a conversation, man, he should be doing this and that.
Right.
I don't get it on that, you know what I'm saying? For the fact
Yeah.
that he's done a great job as him being a man. But, you know, as you grow, when you high school sweethearts, because, you know, I can identify what she's saying, because me and her mother was high school sweethearts. Y'all start becoming adults, it will cause y'all to grow apart. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily I have a problem with you. It's just we're growing apart. I'm coming to my own as an adult that you didn't even expect, or I didn't expect what you was going to be in as an adult. As teenagers, we exploring who we are. It's all fun and all dandy. And as we get adult, then we start to solidify who we are. And it's like, you know what? You wake up like, you ain't the same person no more. You know what I'm saying? But we should teach our children, it's like, you know, we are designed to evolve.
Yes.
And
Girl,
we have
always
to,
growing. Life
right,
is a teacher.
and we have to identify in each other when we're evolving. You know what I'm saying? That's actually something that's the ride or that's the path I want to take with you. And
So
it comes
I
with
want
communication.
to explore a little bit of this jealousy aspect in toxic
Oh,
women.
that's
Right?
great.
I
You
mean,
took it out of my
some
head.
women so jealous they don't even want to see their own mate prosper.
Man.
You know what I mean? They don't even want to see their own mate
They
prosper.
didn't want to see their own kids.
Why you
They
think
jealous
that?
of their
part
kids.
too.
You know, they
The
would,
ki-
Why y'all think that?
My goodness. Why would you think
Jealousy, I
that?
feel like it's just instilled in the person. I don't think it's really no.
Because
it's just
because some people are just so
jealousy.
selfish that if it doesn't involve them prospering or
If it doesn't
benefiting in
benefit
some
them.
It's
kind
not
of way,
benefiting them.
then
Or
they
you
don't.
got
They
them
don't.
females that like, ooh.
And jealousy is a sin. Let me just say
Jealous, yes it is.
Is it?
You got
It's
females
covenant.
out here that's really,
Jealous
really,
is a
really,
sin.
really like
Thou shalt
crazy
not covet.
jealous.
That is jealousy.
And it don't have to always,
Ten
jealousy don't
Commandments.
always mean like, okay, what you have and what I don't have.
Just
It's-
jealous
No,
of
no,
who
no,
You
you
can be
are.
jealous of
No,
somebody's
It's who you are.
personality.
Yeah, you jealous of
You
who
can
you
be
are.
jealous of how somebody handles this and how you you can be jealous about a lot of different
Nah, I
things.
just
People,
you better
people
be-
can hate
I'm
you
more
because
ahead
other
of-
people love you so much.
And I
Yeah.
deal
Get
with that.
jealous of you because
Personally,
everybody
I deal
else
with that
does.
a lot.
About that.
Yeah, I get it
A
a lot.
lot.
That's my number one thing.
This jealousy.
You know, people
I can't
people
stand
not
nobody
liking me
jealous
because
of
so
me.
many other people fuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they feel like, you know, oh, well, that person shouldn't be, that person shouldn't have those attributes. You shouldn't
Right.
look up
Or
to
why,
that person.
why do everybody
Why
love
do
you
you
like
yeah,
that?
why do everybody
Why
love
do you
you
get so
like
many
that?
opportunities? You know, why your light shining so bright? But the thing with that, we got to remember that, you know, everybody is a mirror. So a lot of times people will look at your mirror and see what they lack. And because they lack that, now they feel some type of way about you. Not realizing that it's them that don't have it. So they're constantly, instantly triggered by your light, you know, by your blessings, because they don't have it. So that's when that envy just started running rapid.
I see like a lot of jealousy like in my like social group or peer group
With the
is
women.
women and men. And whereas we have so much in common, right? And it's the uncommon is what they're jealous of. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they see something that
Somebody
you're doing outside of what we commonly do, you know what I'm saying? Whoa. You know what I'm saying? It's like we commonly go wear the same clothes. We commonly go to the same place, this and that, right? All of a sudden you bring a friend around, you know what I'm saying, that's not in our normal realm, till they get jealous of you and that friend. Like, whoa, why does that person like you like that?
Like,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
like-
What about
And I
me?
see
Where
that
you meet
with
them at?
females, they have their cool commodity. It's going. But as soon as they bring that one friend around that's not in the commodity,
It's over.
she
Like
said
friendship
it.
over.
It's
Like,
Armageddon.
you can only be my friend. Those possessive
Like-
friends. You can only be my friend.
Yeah,
Like,
they get
you
jealous
only
of
be
the
my
time,
friend.
the attention. You
Like,
know?
I don't like my friends to have other friends. I want them to be just my friend. Just answer the phone for me kind of thing. You know, they want to like they your man or something. I don't.
When you go out, you only allowed to have fun with me.
Right? Like,
Nobody else. You're not allowed to meet nobody else while we out.
Man.
We
Nobody
want to stay close to you. I had to really like, you know, people, she jealous you, she jealous you. I'm like, no. Because she always around me. I'm like, she can't be. I'm not going to go around someone I'm jealous every day.
Those are the main ones.
Yeah.
But that's a real fact of life. Like, your enemies, what they say, keep your friends
your
close,
enemies
your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
People do that. They sit up under you
will
and they
sit
study
up
you
under
and they
you
watch
and study you.
Mm-hmm.
So how?
Until they can finally use it against
I had to really
I've
let a
dealt
friend go to the point to where she was setting me up in the streets. That's, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, some of your friends only hugging you so they can find a soft spot in your back to stick the
Or
knife.
just
Right, you know?
open, like
Definitely.
a opening, like
And I'm one of those people that pretty much give anybody, I wouldn't say anybody, most people a chance if you come, you befriend me. Oh, let's do this. If I'm available, I'll come to your party, whatever. You know nothing to me, but they take that as something else.
They
lot
take
of times,
advantage
you know what
of
I mean?
it.
They take that as something else just because you know the Bible says if you want friends, show yourself friendly. So if you show yourself friendly, I'm gonna reciprocate that. And then it's like, oh, she's gullible, she's weak, you know what I mean? Like, oh, she's not paying attention or something because they didn't have good intentions in the first place. And because you're not trying to discern that really, because this is just a person to you. You're not trying to look for anybody's flaws or thinking negative or that somebody's jealous. That's not your.
That's counterproductive to being friendly because you open up and now you're on the defensive about everybody.
You can't.
How?
You never know. You never know where opportunity is at. You never know where a blessing is at. You never know who needs your help for real. You know, all of that kind of stuff. So you have, right? They toxic
as shit. Like,
I'm happy you spoke on that.
Toxic as hell coming around me.
I do that a lot. Like, I open up to friendships or people who need help. Not realizing
not
that
the help,
they have
not the needy. Oh my God, they the worst.
They are the worst.
They are the worst.
They might not always openly say they need help, but I could tell, like, okay, they just need a friend. Like, I'm gonna listen to them. Like, I'm that open ear. But that always be my downfall because I'll be there for that person, and then they end up coming right on up out the darkness with that knife, to stab you in your back. So that happens often, and especially with women.
Femininity is caring, nurturing. You know what I'm saying? Showing empathy, sympathy. So
Toxic
showing
the opposite of all of
empathy.
that.
What I'm saying is, so when women show each other that's toxic.
No, not for the woman to show it, but sometimes.
What I'm saying is like when you start seeing it happening, you start seeing their friendship divide.
It might be a hidden agenda. She's
Yeah.
saying from that other person,
Right?
She might be pure with it,
the femininity,
but that person
of this,
got some hidden. ulterior, like a motive behind
agenda
it.
or animosity or
So
something.
her lack of femininity will be
It's a lack on the other
and that's
side.
why I say it's good to be aware of the whole topic, people being toxic. It might be disguised very well, but you just gotta be aware of it. It sucks that we gotta be like that in this society.
Because
you know me, I'm a bubbly, friendly person, but I've been taken advantage so many times because of that, and it's like, well, damn.
Some women, no matter what the situation is, their idea is use what I got to get what I want. You know what I'm saying? And it don't matter if it's a female or a male. They just that's just that's just how that's their breed almost. That's that breed
and then
of
when they
woman.
create a arena around themselves and they create a life, right, that they don't like, then it's everybody else's fault around them.
Then they're a victim.
Then they're the victim.
Then they're a victim. They're a whole victim. You done something to them. You did this. You the one jealous. I mean, they create a whole narrative. A whole narrative about nothing.
Is using what you got to get what you want toxic?
Of course.
Using what you got to get what you want.
That's like saying it's manipulation.
That's manipulation all day.
Full manipulation.
All day.
Full manipulation. I mean,
I addressed that in
I mean, it's like it depends on what you're talking about. What we talking about, we got.
In the context of this
you can really break that down. Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
You
should use your degree to get a good job.
You should use your money to buy food and shit, right? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. So
we talking about in a negative sense, right?
In the manipulative sense.
Using people to get what you want.
out
I'm
of
working
or
for it.
using what you have to get what you want out of people.
Out of
Yes, there you
out
go.
of people.
There you go.
Not out of life.
Out of people. Two
Yes.
different things. Oh.
So when women do parade that phrase around, like I'm gonna use what I got to get what I want type thing, like that's usually always in a negative way. If you operating truly in your feminine energy, though, you automatic like it's like the universe conspires to just bring you what you need.
Exactly.
You don't gotta
You don't have
use
to
what you
work for
gotta
it.
do nothing. It just happens.
But men do it too.
Of course they
mean,
do. We
They
talked about
Now,
that.
don't you start that.
I was about to say, shoot, hold on.
Because we had y'all time to shine 2 weeks ago. Now, every time we talk about women, we ain't gonna loop it
I'm
around.
safe tonight.
We don't, no looping. We gonna keep it on the feminist.
Now, we ain't gonna never get nothing solved. Now, we gonna stay on the
Because I was about
topic.
to say,
Get the
y'all
score,
sure
man.
do
Get the
use what y'all
scoreboard out,
want.
man. Put the
Oh,
scoreboard out,
shit.
man. Point women, point man. Let's get the scoreboard.
What are some of the things that women can do to build community? Because obviously,
To build
just
what?
as build community, because obviously, just as men have to address men and pull men out, you know, it's gonna take women to address these things in women to pull them out, right, and to bring them into some kind of community and allow them to
And
commune
union,
together.
instead of
and
being so
unity.
nasty towards each
Yeah,
other.
right.
So tough.
What is it gonna take,
Especially
for us?
here.
Hey, I'm gonna tell
Detroit,
you.
it's
I'm gonna tell
horrible.
you the best example I've seen in recent years is those 4 women that started Black Lives Matter.
But do you know what
They-
they're doing now? Hello. Hold on. Like, no, that's toxicity right there.
Okay, let's start here. Those are 4 women that are college graduates with degrees. They created a movement when the Zimmerman, when he killed that little boy,
Right.
where
Trayvon Martin.
You only had a handful of people that actually was following it, right? So they created an organization, right? And the organization is a business.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's that business is fuel to make changes, right? So at the same time, you are using your services, you using your talents and your gifts. You're entitled for your services, right? So when I had this conversation before, when people were sitting there attacking these women,
So your idea is women should start businesses together? That's your idea?
And
Because I tried it.
organizations.
I
Hold on.
almost ruined the friendship.
Hold on. Because they was attacking their personal lives because of this social media, right? So I was just like, well, let's say United Way, the president of United Way. Their salary is $1 million. It's $1.5 million. And no one talks about that in their life. If you look at Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's a non-profit organization. You look at
But
that
what
CEO.
does that have to do with women building community?
That's what I just said. I'm going back because now they're building. They have the momentum to build it, but then they attack their personal life because of whatever money that they use out of something that they built.
Mark,
You know what I'm saying?
Mark got some input.
None of those organizations that you named actually work towards causes that they were created for.
Thank
so
you.
No, hold
They
on.
bring
none
in
of that.
salaries and getting
You,
paid.
hold on. United Way didn't work towards causes.
But that's not what she basically. She's saying
Black Lives Matter.
Women
Black Lives Matter
like
is about
us.
the LGBT
Yeah.
community. This ain't about us no more,
You
man.
know-
Do you
Oh
know
no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Yeah,
I'm not going there.
they've all
That's why
been
I started
sold
back in
out
Zimmerman. That's
and-
why I started back
that?
there.
Okay, but that's why I
Okay,
said that was
right.
So
It
they,
gets-
so,
it-
so they, but
everything
the
gets
thing about it is,
twisted.
so the thing about it is, they rallied up the money for this cause, something that they knew people were back, and switched the purposes.
Sounds
Yes.
like
Okay.
sounds like
Well,
manipulation to me.
The
Yeah,
old
no,
bait
no.
and switch.
We have to
It
talk
was a
about
Just
bait
like
and
they do
switch.
every
we have
other.
to we have to
That was on
talk
some
we
real
have to
toxic
talk
stuff.
about we have to talk about the timeline before that even happened.
No, we don't want to be distracted with that. We got a question on the
Right.
floor. What can women do to come together?
And
and
our
That's what I-
community.
that's
So
what-
in
first
our
and foremost,
community.
That's what I'm about to
before
explain.
women
That's what
can
I'm
even
explaining to
build to like have a business with another woman, me personally, I would want that woman to be healed before we can even go into business together. Because women do this all the time, and something always end up taking it off course.
That's
There's
the
always
point.
some type of friction.
That's the point that I was sitting there trying to make. When the women they form their organizations not to get sidetracked by the outside. You know what I'm saying? To stay true to it, right? Just like you sit there.
So
and
you saying we as women should if we
That's a
we
good
should
point
create
towards women,
common
period.
goals.
Not let
They work.
outside people come in between
Yes,
stuff.
absolutely.
Outside
Creating common
opinions.
Right.
You know what?
Exactly.
That's
But a
what
lot
we
of
need to do
times it's
universally as
inner.
a
It's
people.
not
though.
even nothing
I'm
on
about to
the
get there.
outside.
I'm about to get there. I'm about to get there to your point. When the black women come around, because y'all are our backbone. Y'all voices are so strong in the home. Y'all voices are so strong
in the community when it comes to school, when it comes to churches and whatnot, right? So if y'all build something and keep going without being distracted, and granted, it's easy to distract in this world because of social media, because of money, because of politics, this and that. But if y'all have a movement, because that LGBT, that's majority women.
But that's on a macro level. That's so
that you
Right, I'm
asked the
about to get
question,
there,
what
I'm
can
about to
women
get
do?
there.
That's one. I feel like
I'm about
that's
to get
an
there.
example of
So-
one of the things.
Yeah.
Okay,
Women
it-
can put their heads together,
and not be
business wise.
distracted. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, this is our cause. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, we're not gonna listen to the outside. We're gonna sit there and stay to the cause. You know what I'm saying? We built
That's
this
a good
foundation,
tactic.
and we're gonna go right back to the foundation and keep it going.
But women do a lot of that already. They have women empowerment conferences. They have small, they do a lot of that already.
Okay,
They
so
have
can I
black
say
women
something?
in
I feel
business
like each
groups.
woman individually to get to that goal of building a community, a positive aura,
individually.
all of that. Women, we need to stop being so judgmental of each other.
Oh man.
There we go.
That's where I was trying to go. That's where I was trying
Women,
to go.
we can't judge
That's
each
where I
other
was
as
trying to go.
much.
That is on the nose.
When you bring the women
That's
around,
the first thing right there.
y'all
That's
know.
the first
And I'm
thing.
Because everything it becomes a
outside.
subliminal
I'm
competition
outside
amongst the
here.
women
Yeah.
That's
on
it.
who is
You
the best,
understand what I'm
forgotten the
saying?
who, the what, the what.
We
Yeah.
gotta
y'all-
stop judging each other
If
so
any
much.
of y'all are guilty of when collectively all y'all women around, right? One, you speak. I'm not you. I'm just.
You saying in
just
general.
I'm not saying this personally. But once this woman speak, this woman speak, right? It says what she had to say, right? Then all of a sudden now this sidebar. Oh yeah, she think she this and she thinks she
That
this
happens
this
all
and
the
that.
time. That's
Happen
the
all the
point.
time. That's the
That's
judgment,
that's one of
because
the
they have a
distractions.
sidebar judgment.
Yeah, that's
They
one
don't
of the
even.
distractions.
The women don't even
that
have to be in
happen.
a part of the conversation. They can be just three women sitting at the table. This chick can walk in the room and another chick, and she thinks she.
Oh,
That's
it's
my
a whole
point exactly.
conversation.
We don't
She
know
ain't
that
even in the
woman.
front.
Now we
We
going
don't know
back
where
to her
she came
question.
from. We don't know where she
Yeah.
at now. Stop judging.
Right, that's
And
going
make
back
it
to her
sound
question.
Don't do
So
it.
I think that will work
That's very
universally
common
for
in
women
women. I say
against
my
amongst
damn
women
self I done did it.
and for women amongst fellas. Like they're very judgmental of us.
Me
Right?
too,
That
though.
is, well,
For both relationships,
I'm
yeah.
not, we some men
Like
are.
you said, we
Yeah.
leaving the men alone. My bad.
Yeah, but that judgment is something else because you see a lady and women see another woman and just start painting the whole
Sizing
story.
them up
Ain't
off-
never
off
they
the
never
rip.
said
But
a
see,
word.
y'all
to
are
them.
more judgmental because y'all do that to men and women. Like we don't walk up the street and look at a dude and say, "Oh, this nigga think he's shit." I mean, like, that's not. You know what I mean? Now again, granted, you might have some of these bitch
Some men
ass
do.
niggas
Yeah.
that, you
I was
know,
about to
have
say
that trait.
2023.
I done heard some
men.
men.
Again,
Yeah.
because we got
Yeah.
motherfuckers that's switching
Yeah.
over and whatever. But
That's when they kick the
But
fuck
I
out
feel
because
like
somebody
it would
look at them the
help
wrong way.
females. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
we always gonna have the men versus we always gonna have that, but to help females to prosper and grow as, like you said, a community as one, and be more feminine. All that tough stuff
Cause
and
we
all
need
that.
each other. I mean, all that.
Yes.
I don't need no
Yes.
friends. You
Yes.
know, like you.
And it don't
need
even
some
have to be a
friends.
friend, but I shouldn't. If I'm going through some things as a woman, you going through some things as a woman. It should not be like if I have a weak moment or like a vulnerable moment, I should be able to say, okay, hey, Tanisha, woo, 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 and I shouldn't have to worry about you getting up and spreading that to what I'm
Spreading
saying?
it, judging it,
Spreading it, judging it,
anything.
or any of
right?
So,
Having
know?
an opinion.
Because I already don't want to
Nothing.
go to the men's.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Women, we should be able to, like you said, we should be each other's backbone.
So going
should
back
be
to like last
sisters.
week, that
Hello.
safe space. Like you want to have a
Amen.
safe space with
Yes.
your friends, with your
Yes.
women's circle. That's one thing I truly adore and love about the spiritual community or the conscious community. Like us women, I'm good, thank you. Our women, we come together, like we hold that safe space for each other. We're able to be
I'm so glad
vulnerable
y'all
and to
welcome
be
me.
raw. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
We hold each other accountable. Like I had a friend, maybe like 2 years ago, we fell out over differences. We were able to come back together about a year and a half later and just had that conversation. You know what? I was wrong when this happened, or I did this and I didn't think about how you felt about it, and I love you and I never meant for this to happen. But to truly have those conversations where you hold yourself accountable, we do lack accountability with each other, and we're
being
scared to call each
accountable.
other out on stuff, but if you can really take constructive criticism and be held accountable and still have compassion in your heart while doing so, like that's truly what we need in our feminine circles. You know, like we need to be able to see each other, but to still be loving at the same time.
Yes.
And be able to learn the lesson that's being shown instead of being defensive. Like that defensiveness is toxic as hell.
Yeah.
And that's what Telly just said. She said it's a thin line between judging and correcting, which is very true.
Absolutely.
Some women,
Can't
you
take
know, we're
correction.
emotional.
They can't take
We need to let that guard down and say, okay, this is coming from
Can't take
her.
correction.
So it's not judging. It's, you know, she care enough to tell me this is what X, Y, and Z. Boom. Also, she said celebrate and uplift each other.
Celebrate each other,
Amen.
right?
Absolutely.
Publicly, not in secret. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yes.
Publicly, because in secret, you
That go along with
bet
what you were
tearing
saying.
them down
That's
behind their
That's
back.
manipulation.
You know what I mean?
Another part of femininity toxicity is
We
when they
talking about how we
said,
gonna break it, how we gonna fix it.
yeah, right, where they said, where y'all just made the statement of the fine line between judging and correction, right? And whereas a woman wants a man to be a leader, provider, and a facilitator, so if he attempts to correct a woman's behavior, she becomes combative and confrontational. So how you gonna expect him to be a leader if he doesn't allow? If you don't want to allow him to
Yeah, that's
correct
the
things.
controlling abusive women.
You know
That's
what I'm
that
saying?
toxic.
So now
about
there's
toxic
another
women.
fine line between correcting somebody and controlling. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if you're correcting somebody, you're correcting somebody for the betterment of that person.
Of that person, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And not
you're
for
not
your
correcting
benefit.
that person to do as I say or this and that. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I attempt to criticize or correct, it's for your benefit. It's not for my benefit. You'll sit there and see that it has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I will sit there and say what I have to say and go on. You know what I'm saying? I don't look for a result that's gonna come back to me. I don't want to hear a thank you. Oh yeah, you was right and all that, this and that. I want to see the results in you as you move
wanna
on
see
and
you
be
prosper.
prosperous. You know what I'm saying?
Action speak louder than words.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Go back to that.
So when we talk about toxicity, femininity, it's like, okay, now how do you respond to your mate, your spouse? You know what I'm saying? When that person is actually trying to breathe life into you, actually help you to be prosperous, how do you respond to it? Versus having that, oh, I could do this myself, I'm independent, I don't need this and that, because you don't want that person to get any credit, versus they're not even sitting there telling you or helping you for credit. They're only wanting to sit there and see you actually be prosperous and successful. And for you to identify that is that person there for that,
Yes.
versus trying to control you to know the difference.
And I
So
think,
go ahead.
I'm going to say this right here. I think in terms of what you're speaking of is talking about maybe another show. Like we're going to have to do a toxic relationship show, right?
Yeah, 'cause it could-
And do some
But
research
it
on
is
that
important to
and explore
recognize
some
that.
specific things, and that is, you know,
I
toxic
actually
relationship.
read
We're going to do a
something on
toxic
that.
relationship.
The
show
dynamics
now.
What are
of
the
how to work
points of
through
a
it.
toxic
Now that we talked about the
relationship?
men, we talked about the women, we're going to talk about
How
the
they come
co-relationship.
together.
We're going to
Yeah.
talk about how this shit
Period.
comes
It's
together.
only right. It's only right.
It's only right. And then it's on and popping.
Yes, it is. Okay, so one of our viewers commented on Tylese. She said, but that goes back to daddy issues. And I want to speak on daddy issues with women because that is kind
abandonment issues.
The abandonment, the daddy issues. It's a lot. It's that foundation where a lot of toxicity
Or mommy issues.
grows. Or mommy,
Yeah.
mommy. Indeed.
I think with the topic of
Mommy
women,
more
daddy
so.
issues are more.
Me personally, I have a big issue with mommy and daughter's issues because it's me growing up, how mothers were so quick to kick the daughters out the house and be judgmental of the daughters, but not judgmental of the boys. And even
Hold the girls
you know what
to
I'm
higher
saying? As I'm a
standard,
boy,
don't say.
I'm like, I'm watching my partners. They can sit up there and live in their mama house until
They 40.
50 years
Mamas
old,
still
and they
got
don't
a
do
key
the
today.
same thing with the mothers. I'm like, man, they are a pillar. The girls, the women are the pillar in our community. Like you're offsetting the whole DNA of our community where you're sitting there telling this woman or this young girl at 15,
you
oh,
better
you got to
fit.
go out there and struggle now. You know what I'm saying? That's not appropriate. You know what I'm saying? I have a big thing about that. You don't sit there and tell this girl to go out there and struggle. You know what I'm saying? Versus the man that's supposed to go out there and struggle and facilitate and, you know what I'm saying, be the counterpart of the woman. But now it's reversed. You're sitting there telling that man he's not about to go out there and struggle. He's not about to be out there in the jungle
Yeah,
with
he
the
got-
lions,
you
the
enabling.
tigers, the
You got
bears.
excuses
But you're
for
telling
him.
the girl, you got
The world is
excuses for
against
them.
him.
But you telling the girl that she has to go out
The
there
world
and
is
do
a
it. Like,
oyster,
no, that's
oyster.
asshole backwards. You know what I'm saying?
And so,
What would you
what is-
write
yeah, some
about the
other
daddy
pointers
issues?
you had about that, because I know, like me and my dad's relationship is it's funny. I can just say it's funny. I wasn't raised with my dad, so to speak, because I was raised in a different state. So I wasn't raised with my dad. He is a great dad. I'm a good enough daughter, and but nevertheless,
She said, "I'm a good enough daughter."
yeah, right.
That's a hell of a statement.
But at the same time, I do have some daddy issues. You know what I mean? Because just because of the circumstances of which I grew up in a different state.
You just kind of said it in a nutshell. You said, "I'm as good as a daughter as he is as a father." To me, is basically what you said.
Pretty much.
But you saying it falls
pretty
into
much.
I want to hear this.
So yeah, most women who have daddy issues, they have that that they don't have trust in men that they meet. Because if my daddy abandoned me and my daddy wasn't there, you would do the same thing. So they end up showing up more hyper masculine. I'm not sure if that's your story or not, but I do see it in other women. Where they show up being more masculine or talking more down on a man because they saw their mom do that because she had to end up being that masculine figure in that parenting role. So this is how they think that they should move. So any man that they meet moving forward is they approach it with that toxic nature. Like, I got to defend myself. I got to tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm the mama. I'm the man and the woman here. You know what I'm saying? And it become like that rah-rah energy, which I really don't like that our women have adapted, so commonly.
Yeah.
Women
I think
are...
it's that, or they accept toxic. They accept it because of the daddy issues. They accept the bullshit from the men.
That part too.
Having, like, you know what I'm saying?
That
I think
part
it's two
too.
different
That's
daddy
very toxic
issue
as well.
outcomes.
Yeah.
You do got the ones that
And
come in.
I
I don't
think
need a man.
I'm the one that accepts.
Because the dad could be there.
I accept a lot of bullshit
Me
from
as
my
well.
dad.
The dad could
Me
be
as
there, and
well.
the dad won't. The dad probably not shit himself. They might saw the dad creeping out on their mom, or hurting their mom over and over again. So then they end up moving forward, still not trusting man. Like, it goes
Or not
both
having a
ways.
daddy.
Like with either parent, like even say at birth when a woman is born or a child is born. Period. When a child is born, the first God that they see is their mother. They don't know anything else but mama. So when they go through life and mama hurts him, when mama hurts them though, that fucks with the connection of like spirit. Like that really is very detrimental to that person's spirit in general if they don't have a good connection with their parent. So to move forward, you really just don't have no hope in the world. You know what I'm saying? So you move just super toxic. Like, it's just me against the world mentality. You super combative with everything.
Yeah.
You ready to fight and pop off at any moment. Because you lost that connection with your source, with your parents.
I can see that. What?
Sway on her over here because I was the out of town father to my daughter when she said hit home. You know what I'm saying?
Good enough.
Like, yeah, I had, you know what I'm saying? I had to go to court to get mutual custody. You know what I'm saying? Where I get holidays and summers, this and that. Yeah, but at the same time,
kept
I had
for my dad.
the mother that was fighting that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That time to spend this and that. Like, I'm only represent as the ATM machine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I only represent as the financial.
And I experienced that, right? Because not personally.
And that creates the toxicity in women.
I experienced that, and not in that regard. I experienced that with my ex-husband and my daughters, right? So, but he didn't allow it. He didn't allow me to tell them. Well, I used to be like, you going over their houses is a punishment. Like, you going over there, and it was
shit, man. Cause my
wait a minute, I know that's one of your pet peeves.
Oh, you mad?
And
I'm sending you to your daddy house.
I was one of those ones, and he was ATM. But he stood up for himself. He didn't allow for that because he inserted. He's local, so he made sure he inserted himself. He was a person that was responsible for school, and I had to be to work really early, so before they had to be to school, so he would be the one to have to take them to school.
Yeah, the healthy co-parenting.
We had some healthy We still have healthy co-parenting. I mean, he was saying my Mother's Day dinner.
I'm so proud of
my
you
girls
all.
won't do nothing without him. I'm like, who asked him to come? Sorry, but
What you mean?
and then he paid for the dinner. I'm like, y'all just ain't want to pay.
You said you tried everything.
You said he paid?
He came and paid, but I'm like, you might need him to come pay for dinner.
But see, you have to look at it. That's the appreciation because he looks at his kids through you. You know what I'm saying? And that's my appreciation.
We gonna meet him soon, y'all.
Yeah.
We are.
But that's a good example of like we're speaking on daddy issues, mommy issues. That's just an example. You know, I personally know the family, so
And
it's such a
we
good
have,
example of seeing. Like,
yeah, we
you
have
know,
a few minutes left, and I was going to speak on the fact that sometimes it's generational, right? We as women. Our and I spoke on I was on a show before this one, and I told the story of my grandmother, right? Why the women in my family are like super mean and super harsh toward men. My grandmother, right? Her experience was that I didn't know this. I found this out maybe like a year ago, but like my mom knew because it happened when she was a kid, and my mom is who kind of explained to me at some point. I'm like, why you ain't never told me this when she told me? But my grandfather took a I don't know the circumstances, how it happened, what it when, however. Ooh. But my grandfather took up with my grandmother's brother, wife. Right? And they became a married couple and all this kind of stuff, and lived on, moved on. You know, after my mom had been raised
like
all
King
the kids.
Solomon.
It's like after she didn't raise my grandmother raised all the kids and all this kind of stuff. He going off with a new lady, and which was her sister-in-law, her brother's wife. And my grandmother was an angry lady. You know, she was real angry, and she and you know she was and nowadays we call it bitter. You know, she was real bitter and had an aspect toward me, and was mean to me. And I know that, you know, all of us have been, and not only that, like our male selections have been kind of shitty because it's like we gonna get somebody we know ain't gonna do no shit like that, which is might not always be the best person. You know what I mean, like that. So that attitude and women's attitude and the toxicity can be handed down. You know, it can be generational, and that's something that as individuals we talk about. What can we do to come together? You gotta search yourself. You gotta see what's going on with you and your family for real, not just like, oh, you know, my dad and my mom. This, you know, it go before that. It go back to, you know, talk to your mom, find out what kind of woman your mama is. You know, some people don't even recognize your mother was a woman. I think back in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, when I was 5, my mom was 21. I have to think back now. I have to think like when this happened. Oh, and I try to do the numbers. Oh, my mom was only 27. You know, and it's like when you start thinking like this was a woman. And my kids, luckily, I make my kids know. Oh, when I was his age, you know, I make it known because you gotta know I will me as a woman, not just me as a mother. Right. You gotta take the time to learn the women in your family as women, and not just as that auntie.
The child should know you as a parent and as a person.
As a person.
You know what I'm saying? But they learn you as a person as they get older when they have a mature mind.
You gotta want to
understand. You know, you don't teach your child at a young age who you are as a person. You teach them as I'm the parent. That's all you need to know. Now, as you get an adult and you mature enough for me to explain to you the type of person that I am, now it will be no judgment.
No
you know
judgment.
What I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Versus they'll judge you as a child.
Oh, they still judge me. These kids, my kids is relentless. Like, they want me to walk on water sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
I mean, that's more looking at you as a parent. That's not looking at you personally. They're looking at you as a parent. Okay. You know, just
I
think
feel
about
like they
it.
give you back. You know what I'm saying? They give you
and that's
back.
why I let them. I love them.
You can't help but love that.
Yeah, you need that. Just let me live, but you can.
Oh, so how do you think how people should get out of toxicity with being spiritual?
Ultimately, it's about doing healing work. You know, it's about healing, again, not only yourself, but healing the aspects of your mother that you see within yourself and the aspects of your grandmother and your surrounding environment. You know, truly holding yourself accountable, saying, okay, this right here ain't healthy, or why do I constantly show up on, why am I always bitter or angry? You know, and truly just seeing yourself and holding yourself accountable and doing that inner work to break that pattern.
To break that generational stuff. And we started out talking about my experience, right? And it really took me. We did that, right? We had to go back to those masculine and those initial, you know, old. Don't discount or think it's weird when we talk about ancestors, like our ancestors, because sometimes it is related to your ancestors, right? These are traits and ways that have been handed down to you, you know, and you have to seek that out. You have to want to be healed, and then you have to be so sick, and you have to come to the end of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you have to come to the end of yourself where it's like, I done did everything I know to do. I don't even know what to do no more. You know, I gotta do something, but I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. Right? Like I tried this way that usually work, I tried that way that usually work, but ain't none of the tools I usually have working on this.
Cause typically
they
do
deeper.
what they think is gonna work that's comfortable. They have to learn how to do stuff that's uncomfortable to get the results that they want. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the tiredness come from. Man, I did this and I did this. You only did what was comfortable for you.
What was comfortable. You gotta be uncomfortable.
You gotta do that stuff that's uncomfortable for you.
And that's why I take healed women to come together and show that, because then that inspires another woman to heal.
Correction, how we talked about before, you know, healing women.
Healing
women.
Always healing.
We always healing. It's always
and
work.
I think that's
Healing
good to put
women.
our seat in the community.
Yeah.
It's heal yourself.
Heal yourself.
Begin that journey.
Begin that journey. Because
Begin that journey.
you know,
that goes back to women coming together.
Yeah.
Y'all are the healers.
Yeah.
If y'all come together, you know how many men y'all will heal. You know what I'm saying? Because you know men
Real
got
men.
egos. We're not going to church. We're not going to doctors. We're not going to therapists, counselors,
that's
nothing
that
like
toxic
that.
And
masculinity.
people have
We
that
talked about it.
mindset
Typical
so bad.
man, where does he go to get healing from?
From the woman.
From their mother.
From that woman.
You know what I'm
From
saying?
that
So
woman.
you imagine if he has other women around him to help him healing. If he doesn't have a
Oh,
mother,
don't
if
put
his
that on
mother's not there, I can go to auntie, I go to a cousin, a sister, a platonic female friend, a co-worker. You know what I'm saying? If we had a community of women that had the initiation or the agenda to heal our black men, you know what I'm
And
saying?
that's what I was thinking at one point when Osa was speaking, right? I was thinking the same thing, because just like men have to seek out mentors, women have to seek out mentors as well, and women don't want to see another woman as a teacher or leader, right? It's like, who are you to teach, or who are you to lead? You know, I'm a woman just like you a woman, but you don't understand. I've experienced
Not enough
more.
Indians mentality. You can't listen.
It's amongst the women as well. Too
listen.
many chiefs and not enough Indians, because you doing what you need
Everybody
to do.
know it all. All y'all know
Everybody
everything.
know it all, but you don't understand. This woman has different experiences that you can learn from.
Uplift her and celebrate.
Regardless, you know, and don't.
I am
if you
truly
didn't
grateful
judge
for
it,
all of my
yes.
mentors and like women who
Yes.
have poured into me. You know, elders I set up under who will constantly give wisdom. You know, like
We
I
talked
seek
about
guidance
that the
from
other
many
day.
women, and that's the best thing ever. Like I want somebody to show me me. You know, show me what I don't see. Show me my darkness.
Bless the
You know,
church
'cause-
mothers.
'cause
Bless
a lot of
them
times
church
we don't
mothers.
see our
And they
darkness.
been
You know,
here.
so like tell me where I'm fucking up at.
So
You
I
know?
done seen it before.
Call
They're
me
like,
out
I
on my
know what
shit.
that
I love
is.
constructive criticism.
Yeah,
I'm telling y'all that now.
yes.
Y'all ever see me off? Like, let me know. Like, call it out.
You know
For real, call me
where
out. I'm
I
with it.
seen
I love
women
that.
get the best advice from other women. The ladies in church with the big hats.
And them church mothers, I'm telling you, they will get you
The
together.
real church mothers.
Them church mothers that come in with them big hats.
And
They
they got
gangster.
you think
They
it's all
gangster.
biblical, but
If
they
you
got
sit down
common
there
That was
sense.
my grandma.
and talk to them,
Mine too.
Gangster.
they gonna tell you about yourself with no censorship.
Oh, they'll pull you to the side, give you a peppermint, and read you.
Right? And all you can say is, all you can say is thank you, mother.
Right, thank you, mama.
Okay, mother. Okay, mother.
'Cause look,
Yes.
they watch you from the time you walked in that door till you sat down and read everything about
Yes.
you.
I
And
walked
will
in
sit
church
there
one
and
day.
they gonna tell you more about yourself than the pastor.
Yeah, them church
But it's
mothers
important
can
to
read. They
take
can
that as
read.
correcting,
But
not
you know what? Let me
judgment.
say
Yes.
this. That run a lot of people out the church.
Yes, it do.
Especially
Especially
today.
when it come off as
Especially
People don't want to be
2023.
seen.
Cause see, this
No,
is
that's-
what needs to be
People don't wanna
explained.
be
This is what
seen.
needs to be explained to people about church. Church is for the
Y'all
sinners,
got me
not the
2
saints. It's not to come in there as a saint. You come in there as a sinner so you can flush all that sin out you. So when they have that concept, understanding that's what the church is for. It's not for you to come in there looking all good and impress everybody. Because typically that's what the masses do. They want to come in there and press, oh, I'm
You're here to
holy,
be
I'm so
changed.
sanctified and all that. No, come in there as you
As
are,
you
like
are.
they sit there and say, because now this is going to be an opportunity that I can flush all them sins out you. You know what I'm saying? At that time. So when more
You going in
sins come
there
in
as
you,
a fake individual. You can't fix a problem that you ain't diagnosed.
man,
Right?
Yeah.
And you forgiving a fake diagnosis by going in there as something that you ain't. You presenting that you all
You
together.
gotta
You
know
know
the
that you
problem.
ain't.
You gotta
So
acknowledge
So it ain't nothing to talk to you about.
You ain't gonna fix shit because you in
Right.
your mind.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you
Like,
done
I'm
believe
perfect.
this,
I'm
you believe
sanctified.
this facade that you done painted upon yourself.
And it don't even
Yeah.
last the
You think
whole
you hide.
Sunday. It just lasts while you in church.
Okay.
Like in a
As soon as
couple
you walk out
hours.
the
that's
door,
it.
It's
That's
out the
it.
window.
I'm rejuvenated.
The whole Sunday ain't even sacred no more. It's just done.
Yeah.
Period.
So yeah,
That's why I was like, she gonna lead it out. I'm saying lead it out.
yeah, okay, so we're gonna wrap it on up. Again, dealing with toxic femininity, we just want to make sure that we are, holding ourselves accountable. We are seeing our shit, call the thing a thing, being receptive to constructive criticism. As women, we supposed to receive anyways, so just being in that space of grace, truly tapping into the true nature of a
Grace.
feminine, being receptive, being able to work together, being able to be a listening ear, being able to be soft. We don't have to come and show up hard. We don't have to always be in defense mode. And being able to communicate, communicate again with grace, with peace. We don't have to rah as we talk. We can effectively say what we mean in a very soft tone and still get the point across, So again, healing as a collective, that's the thing. We just need to heal. I guess this will be the wrap up of today's show on toxic femininity. I am Osa signing out.
Tanisha, good night and good day.
Peace.
Peace. Peace and love.
Warning. You are now tuned in to 7 Mile.